This is a video response to Geology for Evolutionists Part 2 by Nephilimfree. Um, Nephilimfree is a young Earth creationist who claims to have expertise in a huge number of different scientific disciplines, ranging from evolution and paleontology to isotope geochemistry to theoretical physics. However, for anyone who actually has a decent knowledge in any of these subject areas, watching his videos, it becomes very apparent very soon that he doesn't have a clue what he's talking about, and he's either a massive hypocrite, a huge liar, or just simply plain ignorant. So yeah, I wanted to address a particular part of this one video. I'm going to play the audio clip, which I'm going to address. I'm not going to play the video because I can't be bothered to download it. So have a listen.
First, it's important to know that the Earth is covered with an average of over 1/2 mile of sedimentary material. Such a depth of sedimentary material cannot be created by innumerable local floods. It is not possible. Not even 1 trillion, 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 trillion local floods could produce sedimentary layers and strata to a depth of over 1/2 mile across the entire face of the Earth.
So there we have a little bit of Nephilimfree maths, or Nephilimfree estimation, really. And I'm just going to demonstrate just how wrong he is with this estimation. It's quite spectacular, actually. So onto the maths. A trillion is 10 to the power 12, or 1 followed by 12 zeros. And in his video, he states that the total number of small floods required to cover the Earth with a 1/2 mile of sediment would be a trillion, 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 which is a trillion raised to the power 7. It's 10 to the 12 raised to the power 7, which is 10 to the 84, 1 followed by 84 zeros. A spectacularly huge number. So we're going to assume that each flood covers an area of 1 kilometre squared to an average depth of 1 metre, which is a reasonable approximation for a small flood. This gives each flood a total volume of 0.001 kilometres cubed. If we then multiply this by the total number of floods suggested by Nephilimfree, which is 10 to the 84, we get a total sediment volume of 10 to the 81 cubic kilometres. Now the surface area of the Earth is approximately 5.1 times 10 to the 8 kilometres squared, and if Nephilimfree is right and the Earth is covered by an average of 0.8 kilometres of sediment, this gives a total sediment volume of 4.08 times 10 to the 8 kilometres cubed. And now if we divide the total amount of sediment from a trillion, 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 trillion floods by the volume of sediment on Earth, we get the figure 2.45 times 10 to the 72. And that is the number of times the Earth could be covered in sediment down to a depth of 0.8 kilometres if we use Nephilimfree's estimation. That's a factor of error of 245 followed by 70 zeros. And I've never heard of anyone being that far out before. It's really quite impressive, actually, to be that wrong. However, if we actually assume that Nephilimfree meant this number genuinely, then we can calculate how big each flood must be. And I haven't done the exact calculation, but it's going to be roughly a yoctometer cubed. Now, yoctometer is 10 to the minus 24 meters, and it is, I believe, the smallest unit of measurement commonly used. Now, if you consider that the width of an atomic nucleus is 10 to the minus 15 meters, this gives you an impression of how small this number is. It's essentially a theoretical number. You can't possibly imagine or do anything practical involving a number that small. It's purely for mathematical purposes. So I'd like to congratulate Nephilimfree on breaking probably a world record for margin of error. Fantastic job. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for probably some nice geology videos coming up, addressing things like radiometric dating, and mantle chemistry, things like that. Cheers. See you in the future.